Now we've got clouds down to I think it's 1,400 feet, so it's going to be a fun approach. I've never been able to set the decision height on this. I can't figure it out. Oh, there you go. I need to investigate this more. The controls are just a pain. I don't know whether that's 100 feet or 1,000 feet. So I'm just going to leave it at, let's see if I can set it to 250. Again, counterintuitive, you go left to increase and right to decrease. I hate these controls. I really hate these controls. See, oh, that is just so annoying. It's like randomly it catches you and it reverses it. Let's say 250 feet. I'm not even sure that's correct, but I need to investigate that more because I don't understand it. But it just feels a bit random using that. Let's just use this as a test flight to see if we can figure out what on earth is going on with decision height on that. So I'm expecting a warning or a notification at the decision height. Didn't even look up the decision height at Manchester, but I'm just going to assume it's 250 feet. Just as a test. Okay, we're still in 107 miles from the final approach. Or the approach, the approach. To be exact, the flickering on the clouds. What's the temperature doing? Still at minus 23. We'll have to turn the ice protection on as we descend through the clouds. Other than that, there's not a great deal. Take a look at the instruments. Temps are good. Everything in the green band. Including the prop oil. The prop oil looks a bit close to it's a bit high, but still in the green band. PSI. So it looks good to me. This is still making sense. Switch back to flight plan. And again, all looks good. I suppose this is the downside of using real world weather, that you will run into conditions like this. Obviously Enviro only uses real world weather. That's not a bad thing in itself, but so obviously if you want to do a flight to a particular airport and let's say you're doing it in the Cessna 172 and the crosswind is 20 knots, then you have a problem. Of course you can still fall back on the default weather, but that's hardly ideal. I know they have plans to include historical weather, so that should get around that problem. But obviously you'd like to plug it directly into the explain controls, but as the Enviro team will explain, if you do that it's going to impact your frame rates, because all these calculations are done on their server rather than on your machine. Although having said that, CPU is only at about 50% whenever I've looked at it, so there's some spare capacity somewhere. So we're now below 100 miles before we reach the approach. Just still getting these occasional stutters looking around. Fairly dull clouds. Again, flickering every now and then on the clouds, which is unfortunate. There was a graphical effect actually on the cockpit, the left and right cockpit windows. It was like a rectangle, which now seems to have disappeared, which is good. So that's improved. But I do think that the automatic start has been broken on 11.3. Certainly when I tried it, it just stopped on the right engine. It was just monitoring the right engine and nothing was happening on it. It was just dead. So I assume that's an issue. And clearly these flickering clouds are an issue. Complete adventure trying to approach. I'm trying to remember. Take a look at that. Approaches top right. So bring the altitude down to 3,500. Descend it to 1,000 feet per minute. And that control is down there, and it's a pain to use. And I've used it before, and it is a complete pain. That would be the second issue I have. I wish they would get the controls more intuitive. The explain default manipulators are really irritating. Anything that you have to kind of click and drag the thing away, it's just annoying. Just like to have that a little bit simpler. .5 miles away from Dane. I'll probably start the descent at 35 nautical miles just to be safe. Double check this. Radar controls. It's on normal. Actually, should it be on weather? Probably should. I swear it can go a little bit more. There you go. Am I getting weather on that now? No. Not getting any clouds, so either it's not working or it's ignoring those clouds. Interesting. So we've got a bit of a break here. So there is land below us. Get rid of this for the time being. So it's, yeah, I was about to say we're stuck on 29 FPS there, but it's just, well, it did briefly tick up to 30. So we can finally see land again. But at this altitude there's not an awful lot to see. It's nice to see some breaks in the cloud. There's again some more stutters as I foolishly look around. It's the only downside of track IO whenever you look around you. always run into huge stutters. Settling back down again. That's a nice effect on the glass. Really does look good. So there we are. 75 miles. It would be good to well, it'd be great to have a complete flight in this where things don't go amiss. Obviously this is not going to be one of those flights. Part of this is just looking at everything and looking for issues. Obviously a crash to desktop is one of those issues. So while since we've had such a clear view of the ground, just dealing with these stutters. No clouds, but never mind. Ground speed has stayed pretty consistent. And how are we doing for fuel? We're looking good for fuel. Hopefully my calculations are going to come out correct. That's really the big problem with flying sim aircraft. It's finding tools to calculate the amount of fuel required. I think that's the biggest issue you're going to find, just trying to find. I think the simplest way to do it is just to kind of guess how long it's going to take and then take as much fuel for 2 or 3 hours or whatever it's going to be, and add a reserve on top of that. I think that's probably what most people do. It would be good if it actually did that in sim. I know there are some flight planning tools, but it's always the aircraft that you want to fly that is missing from the list. Anything particularly noteworthy? Well, it's just nice to have that detail. And 60, just under 65 miles to go before it starts getting really busy, and I have to remember how to fly the aircraft. Descent speed low is 220 knots indicated. Recommended descent rate is 2000 fpm. Ice protection set. Cabin pressure set check. Set landing field QNH. Set airfield elevation. Let's just quickly. Can I? See or find Echo Golf Charlie Charlie? I don't think I can. It's going to be up here somewhere. Where is Echo Golf Charlie? There you go, there it is. Details, 257 feet, 299 at 4. Perfect sense, let's leave it at that. keep saying I'm going to move to pilot to ATC at some point, but there's a bunch of other stuff that I'm working on, and I don't really have the time. I actually have it installed, I just haven't activated the trial. I don't want to do that until I have a considerable amount of time to invest in it. See if the dome lighting is going to make any difference. For effect, I might just leave it on. Just double check everything. Everything looks as though it's where it needs to be. Plenty of fuel. Everything is good. So this is where it's going to get complicated. I'm trying to set the landing altitude, but no doubt I will figure it out. And 54 miles to go. Again, the scattered clouds going into play. Imagine what that's going to look like when you have X-enviro clouds that hopefully are not going to flicker. Because some of the screenshots and video of the X-enviro update are really impressive. There's some really towering clouds. The advantage that they are stretching out to the horizon, if you have the power to do it. So we'll get another turn, and just to continue, flight and radio check. Sending 10,000 feet, turn on landing lights, altimeter set, set QNH, external light set, cabin sign set, HP valve set, autopilot set. When the lights up indicator starts to descend, select approach mode. Auto caution on, hydraulics check, prop sync off, condition levers maximum, de-ice boots off, below 200 knots, landing gear extend. Actually, I think I took off with only 7 degrees of flaps rather than flaps 15. Yeah, just missed out 1 notch of flaps. Never mind. Just going to put it all down to refamiliarising myself with the aircraft. Hopefully. 45 miles. 10 miles to go, we'll start the descent. We have the advantage without ATC of making that decision for ourselves. And hopefully the ILS frequency will be correct. And shortly I'm going to have to remember how to set the vertical speed, which is going to be fun. You agree it's not a difficult plane to fly. Look at an overhead panel like that, and I know the first time I look at a panel like that I think, what on earth does all that stuff do? In reality it's really simple. It's not that complicated, it's not that difficult. You just have to invest a little bit of time to familiarise yourself with it. Come on to these clouds again. I'm just going to flip on ice protection while we're hot. The click spot seems to be right in the middle. Some of these you just need to click them. Sometimes you actually need to drag them. Which is a bit confusing. Actually should have taken the passenger lights off. Did I ever turn them on? Oops. I think I forgot to turn them back on again after the restart. Take this down to 3,500 feet. Remember how this works. No, I don't want to change the heading. Why is this not? It's such a pain to use that control, it really is. Bring this power back down to let's get the torque control back on. So we're looking for 220. That's at 210. Yeah, it's starting to pick back up again. Control over our descent speed. I don't want to go too fast. Descent speed is 220. Speed low descent is, should I say descent speed low is 220 knots indicated. Ice protection is set. Let's just keep an eye on that. That's airspeed. Right now it's holding at about 220 knots. Let's see if I can inch forward. And I do mean inch forward. I think that's actually about right. It's painfully slow. Zoom in a bit so we can see what we're doing. Do 257 2994. Oh, it's not going to allow me to just do it the simple way. It's about right. I hate it when those controls are just. I'm just gonna have to assume that's about right for that. So that's done. Flight instruments, radios check, everything as it should be. Altimeter will we'll use 10,000 as the transition level, just because we can. And airspeed has gotten away from us a little bit, indeed it has. While we were taking time, inching forward. It's about 230, it's not a huge issue. I don't want it to go any higher than that. Start punching through the clouds at this point, at least that's what should be happening. And let's take a moment to adjust the altimeter. So it's all going suspiciously well at the moment. Let's just check out. I want to get a closer look on airspeed. It's a little bit high, so let's bring it back down again a little bit. De-ice on. Still haven't come through the clouds yet, but we should be on top of those pretty briefly. Not sure what the clouds are doing below there. I should be seeing clouds at 1,400 or down 2, so see how that goes. Airspeed is about where it needs to be. It's a little bit fast, but just knock it back a notch or 2. Or 3. External lights set. Landing lights on. Cabin signs. And okay, we'll finish with the descent checklist. Got to be thinking in terms of 200 knots for gear, which is why I'm really keen to not accelerate too much. Okay, 5 miles, we will activate the approach. Need to get down a bit quick. Just as well, we started down when we did. As we get another freeze, which hopefully will not turn into a crash. It's just a lot of disc activity. I think it's really just down to the true earth scenery. It tends to bring everything to a standstill. Not a great deal that I can do at this point, just yeah, wait for that. A little bit high here, so just as well we... Where's the descent rate? Descent rate 2000. So we probably should start descending even earlier than that. So we got a little bit to go, but yeah, we'll be fine. So auto coursing on, prop sync off, condition levers maximum, and then it's just basic stuff really. And now we get back into the clouds. Condition levers, prop sync, no, auto coursing, prop sync, condition levers. pop that out. Let's get the approach activated. Stop making life easy on ourselves. Completely unfamiliar with this approach, so I'm just going to go with it. So final course number 232. Still on GPS, which is how it should be. Speed up, I don't want to drop too low. Around 140. So there's a lot of clouds about, so I'm just going to stick with the ice protection. And just get a firm grip of what's going on here. 26, so 45 miles away from 46 miles away from the runway, and I'm just going to let this run through, and hopefully it's all going to hold on. Hold on. Where the heck are we going? Okay, this is why are we going away from as always, I'm not at all sure how we're going to get to MCT by flying in the opposite direction. So, fun and games again with the autopilot. Not sure what's going on. I always suspect that I've made a mistake somewhere, but I'm not sure where the mistake is there. Never mind. Okay, let's make sure we have an airspeed that's not going to prohibit us from making any necessary tight turns. We haven't even managed to get to the approach yet and it's already falling apart. There's quite a tight turn there to get back. Unless I'm completely misreading this. I wouldn't mind having an approach that actually just works. My approaches always tend to go very badly wrong. I'm not sure what's going on with it. As I said, my natural reaction is always that I must be doing something wrong, but I'm not sure that I am. Anyway, all that said, final approach speed maintain 115 knots indicated. I'm not sure about crossing the threshold, slowly bring power levers back to flight idle. I'm not totally sure about that, but we'll see. So once again, fun and games. Are we flying the correct path here? We're not intercepting. This does not fill me with confidence. But again, as always, it's a bit of an adventure. See, we're not flying on that track. We should. This is just not right. We should be on that track. Why are we not on that track? Well, we are now, kind of. Oh, it's just. Why are we flying? We're not on that track, surely. That's one heck of a turn. I'm completely baffled here. I just don't understand this. We're not flying that track at all. I don't get it. We just seem to be... Are we flying on a heading? I don't understand it. I just don't understand what we're doing here. We're flying on a track of 022. I don't get this, I really don't. I just seriously don't understand this. I just don't understand it. I don't get why it's not following that track. I'm thinking, what am I doing wrong? And I can't see what I'm doing wrong. Honestly, can't see what I'm doing wrong. But that is not flying the correct track. I might just have to improvise this and figure out. Just let it go and then do a left turn. I honestly don't know what I'm doing wrong. See, that is where CI23 right is, and yet we're not flying towards it. So I'm a bit of a loss as to why it's doing that. Again, if you have any clues as to what I'm doing wrong, feel free to explain. I'll have to turn the strobes off in a second. Right, let me just do that. That has me completely baffled. I don't understand why it's flying that track. Not an issue with speed. Don't get it. Don't get it. Is that a 3-knot wind from the left? Let's hope not. I don't really need a crosswind. But yeah, I don't get it. Desired track 52 degrees. Why have we got a desired track of 52 degrees? I'm just totally confused. I'm utterly confused at this point. Not understanding that. Can't see what I'm doing wrong. It's GPS. I don't get it. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm thinking, what could I be doing wrong at this moment in time? And I can't think what it could be. How are we for fuel? Yeah, fine. See? Great. Let me see, it's not. I'm going to end up flying into the ground. I swear to God, I'm going to end up flying into the ground. Okay, let's see if we can. Let's just see if we can. Oh, crikey, we're on VLOC now. I'm utterly confused. Okay, looks like we've got. Where are we going now? Are we turning right? Are we turning right here? I seriously need some real explanations to what on earth is going on with this. Because I genuinely don't understand any of this. This is just nuts. This is just utterly bizarre. That is not going there. Switch it back to GPS. Let's just... It keeps switching to VLOC. Keep on GPS until notified otherwise. Nope. Honestly, if I've got something wrong, please tell me, because I cannot for the life of me figure out what is going on with this. Honestly, I can't remember the last time I followed a flight plan and it didn't do something absolutely bizarre. And again, if I'm doing something wrong, please somebody explain to me what I'm getting wrong. But I just, for some reason, I can't get just fly on a straight flight plan. I can't remember the last time I did it. I keep getting these weird issues that I can't explain. I really don't understand this. I'm trying to watch out for a glide slope. Okay, looks like we've got a glide slope here. No, don't do something stupid. Just keep it straight. Don't wander off. Just trying to keep it on that point. I don't want it going anywhere. We get glide slope, then it just stick with that GPS. Let's get there. I do not trust this at all. I might just next time just leave it on VLOC and see what it does. Nope, 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 nope. We are not turning wildly. Let's... Where the heck are we going now? We're starting to get onto... Could you just stop doing that? flight, let's just see if we can get onto approach and just see if it's gonna behave itself. Okay, we're getting there for the okay, it's looking reasonable. In all honesty, I just don't trust this at all. Okay, we're coming up to a descent point. Edge of the seat stuff as we figure out, can we get this down? Or is this gonna go crazy on us? This is gonna end badly, I'll tell you right now. I'm calling it now. Start getting the flaps in. Can't see anything. Okay, so we're at least on glide slope. On localizer, on glide slope. The rest of it is an absolute mystery. Okay, I'm not going to do anything other than just attempt to land this aircraft. Any sort of landing, I don't care if it's left, right, centre, I don't care, I just want to land. Still haven't changed the button for XP realistic, so you're going to have a little bit of a pop-up as I turn off the autopilot warning noise, for want of a better word. On glide slope, on localizer, and we are on. Still 7 degrees of flaps, got a long way to go on the flaps. Let's get some more flaps in actually. On localizer, on glide slope. And something else is bound to go wrong. I'll tell you, every time I do one of these flights, there are just so many things that go wrong. It is just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. I dream of the day I'm going to get a flight that just goes absolutely by the numbers. Hasn't happened so far, but there's always a first time for everything. Let's stop pulling this power down. Again, I can't remember the power settings. 20 degrees of flaps, so we've just got one more stage, 35. Too much lower than that. Let's push up to 55. I'm going to bring in a little bit more flaps. No idea where that runway is. I can't see it yet. Those lights, yeah, there you go. There it is. So let's go the whole way, full flaps. That looks about, in fact, just going to give it a bit more power. On glide slope, on localizer, 250 feet airport elevation, so it's 700 feet. I'll turn off the autopilot, I'll feel brave. What's the airspeed? Just a bit. In fact, I'm going a bit lower than that because I want to I'm not even going to turn off the, I'm not even going to think about that. For some reason the descent rate has gotten completely messed up. See, the stick is just making it really difficult to control this descent. Dude, I know. It's far from perfect. That is a terrible... absolutely awful landing. Silence that. To get the aircraft slowed down. It slowed down a bit too much. Oh. Where do we need to go here? Oh, that is not the place to go, I don't think. Where are the buildings? Is it just me, or are there absolutely no buildings? Let's take the next taxiway as I desperately try to figure out where we need to go. I can't for the life of me see any buildings. Just take this next exit. See, the stick is really, it makes it really hard to control. I cannot figure out the force feedback stuff on this. The stick just constantly wants to kill me. So I'm just trying to figure out where we go at this point. Strange. Okay, I'm looking for the next exit. It should be coming up here. And then we'll just wander around aimlessly and trying to find somewhere to park. See, that's why I want to practice landings in this aircraft, because you really need to get a feel for it, and also I need to figure out what's going on with this stick. I didn't see the yellow line there leading off the runway. Anyway. Let's go down this way. Bit of a magical mystery tour to figure out where we're going. Okay, let's get the flaps up. Let's get the speed down, we're going a bit too quick. So that's been a bit of an adventure, I'm sure you'll agree. Transponder if I can find it. Power to get going. Ice protection set. I'll just get us turned around here, and then we'll deal with ice protection. The controls being really awkward and difficult, but just get straightened up, then we'll head in that direction and see if we can find the airport. I really like this aircraft. I just wish that I could practice landings. Because we just established that I need to practice them. These awkward controls on the ice protection are a real pain. Okay, that's that done. Auto Corson off. Still lights are set. Standby pitot. Let's get that off. Not going to deal with the aircon. Now let's just get to parking. As I get back onto centre line here. There you go, we're over there. We're in that general direction. It's the moment that we explore a little bit and figure out what is going on. Just going to go down here. Explore the airport a little bit. Get a feel for how it looks. So yeah, that is another complete flight. Another... I don't know how to describe that. Crashed the desktop. Better pushback not working. Pretty much everything. Also, will traffic going AWOL. So yeah, every one of my flights just is one complete adventure. They tend not to go the way that I want them to, but at least there's plenty of talking points at the end of them. I don't get what's going on with the G430. That I just don't understand. I really don't get it. If I'm doing something wrong, I can't for the life of me think what I'm getting wrong with it. Biggest problem is not being able to practice landings. I really wish they would allow you to do that, but I have to figure out what's going on with the force feedback. If you haven't used the force feedback stick for a long time, actually when I first got X-Plane, I swear it had force feedback. I could feel more of a stiffness in the stick, and then I switched to other aircraft and it wasn't there. Whether that was a third party thing that I wasn't aware of, I don't know. Maybe it was an Airfoil Labs thing, I don't know, I really don't, but when you don't have it, it's really noticeable because there's just no resistance in the stick. Let's go left here. Absolutely no resistance in the stick, and it's really difficult to control an aircraft when you've no resistance on a force feedback stick. The thing just flops around. It's really awkward. This looks like a scenic place to park. So I changed to X-Force, which is a free plug-in, and for every other aircraft but this one it works fine, but with this one it has some odd behaviour, and it's really difficult. It's really difficult to control the aircraft at all, never mind when you're trying to do a precise lineup for a landing. Now, the solution may well be just to stop using this and just switch to the Thrustmaster Warthog, which I have, which I actually, in general, I prefer using the Sidewinder stick, which is about, what, 5% of the price of the Warthog, but it's got to be better than trying to use this stick on it, which is just not working for me. But again, I might be able to overcome that if I could just get some practice on landings. Let's just back off the power and bring it to a rest here. Maintain a little bit of power to keep it going. To rest here. This looks like a reasonable place for a Saab 340 to park. idle, not exactly straight, but that will do. And parking brake set. Okay, engine anti-ice is off, external lights set. Let's go nav off. Strobe is already off, taxi off. The passenger side's off. Emergency lights are... I'll grab a hold of the switch. See, sometimes the lighting changes when I'm manipulating these things. I swear it's not just me. Avionics set. Let's just get this turned off. Power lever ground idle, it is indeed. Condition levers start. Bleed valve closed, HP valve closed. Generators off. Condition lever, fuel off. In fact, I'm doing both left and right at the same time. Batteries off. And dome light. Find it, there you go, off. And that is it, we have shut the aircraft down. So yeah, just to sum up, I cannot get a complete flight done without there being issues of some sort or another. A lot of static people, being static. But yeah, one of these days I will get there. All those passengers waiting for their flight. But yeah, still can't figure out what's going on with the G430. Just don't trust that at all. Can't figure out what it is I may be doing wrong, whether it's just... I've had issues with that before, and I don't know. I just can't explain. I just don't understand what happens with that. But yeah, we got there. Not the best of landings, but at least we had an acceptable landing. It's not bad scenery, but not up to not up to Orbix standard, but reasonable. So yeah, that is another complete full flight in the Saab 340. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you found it entertaining. Certainly full of incidents as always. So yeah, as always, feel free to like, comment and subscribe.